running water in every room.
I got some friends running an urban homestead. Chickens. Big garden, the whole deal.
Well, that's the next step. Is getting the coach changed for chickens and goats.
They've got goats.
How long has it been closed?
Well, I don't know, but Carl bought it about 3 years ago.
I think it closed down in like '98. I wasn't here at the time. I was over here. Sometime right around there. So, and then there's been a subsequent vandalism in the 4 years that I've lived here. You know, tragic. Tragic. So it's a nice building.
I'm sorry. What's your name again?
Sorry.
Your name is Will.
William.
William. Where do you live around here?
4206 Forest. So right over there.
Okay. So did you buy a house over here? And
Through
what's
the
your
city.
And what's been your experience living in the neighborhood?
It's fine. It's actually, I mean, there's an occasional gunshot, but it's, I don't know, it's pretty laid back otherwise. You know, you'll hear a few news stories. We walked by a place where there was a standoff a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's a lot more hype than what it is. I have really nice neighbors, and you know, they kind of take care of their stuff. And I don't know, it's a mixed bag though, because you do have property owners that just don't care at all, or are absentee. So, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that was the neighborhood association's idea behind me, where my mortgage is less than the cost of the house, forgiven over a 10-year period, you know, incrementally each year, just to get people established in the neighborhood who are going to take care of their stuff. And you were talking to the garden a year ago with the Green Impact Zone. That my block was chosen to be the model block. And so what they were going to do is put Habitat for Humanity up and down there, which would get rid of the garden, unfortunately, or maybe it was kind of the worst. But tearing down the bad houses, refurbishing the good houses, having all mixed income, which I think is important. And, you know, if you're familiar with Habitat for Humanity, you know, you have to build your house, build other people's houses, and then help build your house. And the people that would do that are the people that are going to mow, going to take care of their stuff. It would be, you know, very diversified because, you know, if you're on the list for Habitat, you know, so it's not like I'm the only white person in my neighborhood, which doesn't make a difference to me. But it's just nice to have a mixed group of everybody. So if you're on Habitat's list, you know, we have nice new Latinos, new African Americans, new whites, new everybody, and just it would just be a better situation. But I don't know where that stands because that was supposed to be June of last year.
They're supposed to build 6 more houses by 2012, winter 2012.
Okay.
But I talked to them about just rehabbing. I worked, volunteered years ago with them. And I remember, thought we were rehabbing, but we could have been building. It looked like the house. I remember putting up sheetrock. They said that they got into the building business because it's kind of hard to rehab some of the houses that have had crack or meth labs or whatever. I guess there's residue that's dangerous. But they're going to talk to the board about getting on, starting again on the rehabbing thing, because we have people that want to move into houses that are here because they're so cheap.
Right.
And we have a bunch of people that will help, because it's like, my idea was it's like a barn raising. If you all move in at the same time, or you help each other. If 52 people are working on one house, that house is going to get done that weekend. And then you can do the next house, and the next, and the next, and everybody helps each other. And it's just so much more fun anyway, working together, than trying to do something by yourself. That camaraderie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question though about, looking at some of these old houses over here, and you're talking about not wanting to have that thing which just becomes one set of people.
Exactly.
You want to have that mixed diversity. Do you have any protection for the neighborhoods? Over in the west side, they have no historic designation whatsoever, so houses are being built that are being totally contemporary boxes that are just pricing everybody else out. You're not getting it, so people there, they're going to take over that neighborhood. How about here? Something starts and there's a spark. People feel a little safe and coming back. All of a sudden they'll come in and start speculating and building these houses that won't be affordable for everybody. So you guys have any kind of protection?
We're just people. We're just
no,
people.
but I mean, any attempt to
We're
designate like some kind of historic protection?
The Habitat had said that it was going to kind of keep with the architecture. Otherwise, personally, I'm not worried about anyone coming in and building a big fancy house. If they did, I think that'd be great. But it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? If they have,
that would be mixed incomes.
It would be. It would be.
The
Yeah.
people that we're moving in, okay, if you look at this neighborhood, people who want to live in a big fancy house in Johnson County will not come in here because
They won't
it's
even
like,
drive
it
through.
doesn't.
Yeah, but you know, they said that about downtown. They said that about the
So you're talking
crossroads.
about like 10 years from now.
Yeah, it's just because, you know,
Well, we're hoping to
because
get the artists.
I see neighborhoods like this. I mean, I see the transition in some of these neighborhoods where people who have lived in those neighborhoods eventually becomes attractive. It doesn't happen overnight, but in 10 or 15 years, all of a sudden they can't afford their own neighborhoods, you know, and end up being inched out in a way. Look at what happened over there by the hospital. Right now, everybody loves you say tomato and all these nice little houses that live out over there, but that was a mixed neighborhood at one time, more working class, poor, mixed racially. You go over there, it looks very much like a preppy place. It's just changed.
So is
and
Hyde
that
Park.
Yeah, Hyde Park, exactly. And then they put up the barriers, and you know, people begin to know that that's not where they're gonna. They can't afford it. So I mean, I don't want to say, you know, be like, yo, this doesn't happen, it'll never happen. This neighborhood never has that idea, but then you've got a true corridor that eventually becomes part of a redevelopment plan at some point. And you've got that access back and forth on 47th that eventually become, if the university keeps expanding down and the health center takes off. I mean, I live over at State Line and 39th Street. I live over in that area. KU is moving all the way down those things. They built houses kind of
They tore down
10 or
houses.
50, but houses they had just built, duplexes they had just built like maybe 10 years before. And now they've torn all that down, they're building down the hill, you know. So I mean, I don't want to be Pollyannish and think, no, it's not going to happen. But, you know, how do you make sure that diversity?
Well, and I think that was basically, we were talking about Hyde Park when we were in high school. Hyde Park was a really sketchy area, and now it's a destination, almost like Brookside or Waldo. But, I mean, I don't really see that as a worst case scenario. If someone wanted to drop a lot of money and build a $400,000 house here, it would just keep moving further east, and I mean, it gets so blighted the further east you go. So for the people that are homeowners now, or what you're talking about doing, it'd be a win-win because our property values would go up, and I still think it could maintain its diversity, you know what I mean? But yeah, it would just develop further east in that case, and that's a good situation for anybody, really. So, but no, I think it's
Until
lofty.
the decay creeps in on the back end.
Until what?
The decay creeps back
Right.
in, you know. But we're talking 50 years down the road.
Right.
I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and there was an arts district there, the North Davidson Arts District. And it was all blue-collar, low-income houses, a bunch of closed-down, boarded-up street fronts. The artists came in, found free gallery, or, you know, very cheap gallery space. They started building it up. They started investing in it. They started moving into the neighborhoods. And, you know, so they were buying houses for $15,000, $25,000. And 4 years later, those houses were $250,000, and, you know, no bigger than this. And, you know, the developers caught onto it, latched onto it. They bulldozed a lot of the galleries and turned them into condos and office space. And you know, so it built up into this thing where the people who started the neighborhood or revitalized the neighborhood couldn't afford to live there anymore. And I mean, I still think it's good economically for that section of that town because it does draw people in. And but you know, the spirit that revitalized it has gone to other places, and I think maybe that's what you hope for. I don't know.
Well, it's just what happens is just like with the crossroads here, where that was
Right.
very
Now everybody's
cheap.
in the bottom.
Exactly. So, but what it's done is has made a wonderful neighborhood there. We were talking about having revitalized Hyde Park, so it would just keep going. And so, worst case scenario, this gets so revitalized that okay, maybe the artists can't afford it. It's just like in New York, everyone's out in Brooklyn, and now some people can't afford Brooklyn, so they're going to Queens. But so yeah, worst case scenario, this gets developed, and we move on over here, or you know, northeast or south.
This is why we want them to own a home.
Exactly.
So they don't have to always be moving.
Right. And
You know?
rents going up or whatever.
Yeah,
Your
and
mortgage is your mortgage period.
we chose this area because it's really blighted and really
It's in
cheap.
need, and it's so close to the plaza, and so close to Nelson.
It
I mean,
is. It's right
there's
by the
no
Art
reason
Institute.
for it. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, there's just so many boarded up houses. You could have an instant community if you could just get people in. And the 52 houses in 52 weeks sort of was to try and keep it under the radar so that they can buy the houses for cheap and keep them cheap and not get developers in. I'm not a developer. I see this, I see this neighborhood the way that it is right now, except the people living here. And I don't see all the empty lots being filled with houses. I see them with gardens and,
Right.
Playgrounds.
Yes, playgrounds, and keep the green space. Maybe, put in some bushes or something that blooms and fruit trees and stuff like that.
To ask him what he thinks?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Next time when he drives by, let's see if he can flag down a cop.
Yeah, ask him out the area. Well, it's interesting. We're actually having a brown bag lunch on Wednesday about this.